Hey friends, my name is Jake. Welcome to Canadian Cutting Edge. Today we're taking a look at the QSP HAMSTER. As you saw in the intro, the thumbnail I should say. Take a look at that knife. Two-tone satin finish. Pretty decent looking knife. We've got titanium, S35VN, flipper, ceramic ball bearings. It's a cool little knife. I never had a hamster growing up. My parents were immigrants from Mexico back in the 60s. And yeah, they've got enough rodents in their lives that they didn't need hamsters in their lives. So their history, I should say. So this is my very first hamster, and I'm quite liking it. I did not buy this knife, just to be very clear. This was sent to me from QSP. Thank you very much, QSP. QSP has been quite good to me in the past. And I contacted them to start a relationship because I found their knives to be above par. This knife is no exception. The fit and finish on this thing is very good. Better than most of what I review, but it's reflected in the price point. You know, this thing is, at White Mountain Knives, it is $139.95. If you take off 10% on that, with coupon code CCE, that's $125.95. $125.95 American for this knife. The S35VN, it's ground very well. This titanium, this finish that they put on here, this is the dark one. They've got a greenish one, and then they've got a gray one as well. It has held up very well to being bumped around in my pocket, out of my pocket, tossed on tables, hard surfaces, dropped on the ground accidentally. Don't do that on purpose. And it's held up very, very well. I really like what this thing is looking like. It's a light little knife, and we're going to talk about all the details about it, give you my opinions. And my opinion, the way I do my reviews, it really honestly makes no difference if it was given to me or if I bought it. Of course, there could be unconscious bias. So let's get to the tabletop and take a good close look at it. Here is that knife in its glory. A nice, good close-up look. There's the spine. It's got a small backspacer. A little bit of jimping on that backspacer. Lanyard hole right there. Pocket clip is right side only. It's also titanium. Follows that curve. I wish it would have followed this line a little bit better. So you've got this curve here, and it's the same radius, but it's just off a little bit. I don't think they needed to do that because there's an over travel stop right there in that lock bar insert. So the pocket clip could have just followed that line. I think I would have liked that better. Like I said, there's a lock bar insert there. So we've got a nice steel insert for the lockup. We've got ceramic ball bearings. We've got some jimping on the thumb riser. Nice stubby blade shape. Good sharpness choil. There's the flipper. That's the quick look at it. Let's do a size comparison with the Ontario Rat one, except we can't get it all on the screen. This whole hamster is about the size of the handle of the Ontario Rat one. It's a little bit bigger than the handle. So yeah, this is a little knife to be certain. So let's now talk first about the blade. There we go. I like this blade shape. I like this swedge up here. We've got a point here. It's not designed for puncturing, so, but you can puncture some things. I keep saying so, don't I? I just realized it yesterday when I was editing a different video. I say so quite a lot. Now you guys are going to hear it all the time because I mentioned it, right? We got belly. It's a little bit like a straight section right there, but not really. Nice sharpness choil. The plunge is a little bit gradual, but the sharpness choil goes through all of it, so good sharpness choil. They got a little bit of a chamfered corner on the steel here, getting back to the flipper. It's their typical flipper that they've been using quite a lot on a number of knives. I was thinking about the Hawk knife. There's new versions of the Hawk coming out. with had come out already. Quite nice, I think. S35 VN steel, thin behind the grind. The grind angles, they're pretty good. The sharpening that was done on it is decent. We'll talk about all those specs a little bit later on. The handle shape, I like the shape back here. You've got that nice curve back there, so it fits well in the palm of the hand. Although it doesn't go way deep in the palm of the hand, that shape does feel quite comfortable. Good texture on here for extra grip. And that cove milled in here instead of just a chamfer gives interest to the handle. And it's just a chamfer here on the front, but looks great. There's QSP's triangle logo. The other side has the same hints on it. And we've got the pocket clip on top. I'll show how it works. We've got a good spring tension on this clip. And goes over the pocket to the full depth easily. But with that little spot they're holding on, it holds on fairly well. It doesn't just come out, but you don't need excessive pressure to pull it out. So I like this pocket clip quite a lot. Let's take it off to show you what it looks like without the pocket clip. Oh, that's the T. No. Oh, maybe it's not a T6, is it? Yes, it is a T6. This is the first time I'm taking it off, and it's on there tight. There we go. I hope they didn't use thread locker on this. But since there's only one screw on the pocket clip, I'm thinking they did, because I had to push pretty hard to get it to come free. So you could use the heat trick and expose this to heat first. And there's one little line right there on that screw. It looks like it might have been put in with, there we go. Now you could, I don't know if this screw is too long to put back in there. So if you could use it without the pocket clip, I'm not sure. But that screw helps hold the back spacer in. So let's give it a try and see if it works without the pocket clip. Because I'm thinking some people, for this tiny knife, well, it's not tiny, but this small knife, they might prefer to use this. Yeah, that's tight in there. That's very tight. I don't want to push it too hard and chew up the screw. That's the pocket clip. It's nicely cut in there so that it's locked in. That sort of square with rounded edges fits in there just fine. They even went so far as to put a little bit of a dip right in the middle of this that fits in with the theme of the hole right there. So that's a really nice touch. Then we've got the hole there for the lanyard. I really like that. The placement's perfect, and paracord doesn't bunch out when you wrap it in there, and it's out at the end, so it doesn't bug the hand back here when you've got paracord on there, for those people that like lanyards. And that little tip there is a decent persuader. If you have to use it like this, with your thumb locking it in and a pressure point persuader, this knife could actually be used for that purpose. I don't think that was in their intentions or anything. Maybe it was, I don't know. But that could be a good job for that end of the handle there. High-end stainless steel screws. The ends in there are very well made. The tolerances are very good. The screwdriver fits in there very well. I wish that might fit in a little deeper on the T6 actually, but it does lock in there. And just a little bit of play, a little bit of side to side, not much at all. And the T8 here, I'll show that. That's really good as well. Just the tiniest twisting motion before it moves. So that's nice. The lockup on this, it's fully engaged, but not over engaged. It's a good lock. To release the lock, there's a little... Oh, I got a notification. I've got an appointment soon, so gotta hurry up here. There's a swedge up here. Got to get to the hospital and can release that. Yeah, I got to get some tests done. So it works really well. It's proud enough. It's just a really good feeling. It's just easy to disengage the lock. And, you know, the flipper works good. The ceramic ball bearings, good action. When I release the lock, the knife is very light. If I push the lock bar over so that it's not pulling on it, see, it's just falling. It's very free as long as I get the pressure of that arm off of there. Lock up solid, no blade play, up and down. It's very, very well made. Blade centering, it's just slightly off. Not bad at all. Not even close to rubbing anywhere. So that's a really good thing. I'm going to put this back together, and the next thing I'm going to talk about is all the sizes, dimensions, and everything. Just before I do all of the sizes, let me go over this again. This screw for the pocket clip, it's too long to put back in without the pocket clip. So QSP, since this knife is over $100 American, please send along a shorter screw for those people that don't want to use the pocket clip. Let's say they want to put it into a leather sleeve, a slip, and carry it that way, which often happens with smaller knives. That would be a very good, very inexpensive upgrade for this knife. That screw, I took it out. Yes, it had some Loctite gunk in it, hindering me putting it back in as smoothly as I wanted to. I put it into a mug of boiling hot water. I let it sit there till the water cooled off. And then I took just a regular Scotch-Brite type pad, put the screw in there, and when I was holding it very tightly, I unscrewed it out and it cleaned it all off. So that's just a little Canadian Cutting Edge University moment for ways to clean Loctite thread locker off of screws. So there you go. Now it's time for all the sizes, dimensions, all those kinds of things. Like I said, S35VN, Rockwell 60 or over 60 even. That's quite good. Good edge retention, good corrosion resistance. It's a decent weight of this knife is 65 grams, 2.3 ounces. Sharpness from the factory, 70 BESS. That is quite a bit better than average. Average is about 140 BESS. So the lower the number, it means the sharper the edge is. So that's very good. The cutting edge length, 47.1 millimeters, 1.85 inches. Blade length, tip to the handle, 50.5 millimeters, 1.99 inches. The handle thickness, 2.94 millimeters, 0.116 of an inch, so just a bit under an eighth of an inch. The blade depth, the widest point is just a bit up from the heel of the blade, right about where my thumbnails are, 25.1 millimeters, 0.988 inches. How thick is it behind the grind? I measured it in a couple places, 0.47 millimeters, 18.5 thousandths of an inch. That's very good. On a little knife like this, it's not a heavy-duty kind of knife. I would like it to get even thinner behind the grind, but 18.5 thousandths is not bad at all. The grind angles. On this side, it's about 18.2 with very little variability at all. And on this side, it started at 23.7 and ended at 20.1. So just a little bit of variability. So I'm calling that 21.9 on an average. So 18.2, 21.9, not very bad. S35VN, this small knife, I would sharpen it 18, maybe 17 degrees per side, maybe even down to 15, like a kitchen knife. The handle length, including the extended backspacer lanyard section, 81 millimeters, 3.19 inches. The grip area, I'm saying it's a bit more than 7 centimeters or 2 3/4 inches. A little bit over both of those, but not over enough to use a different number. The thickness of the handle, I measured it up here, not including the pocket clip, just in case somebody's got a spare screw. It's using a common knife thread, so a lot of guys might have a spare screw to put in there. And that is 11.5 millimeters, which is 0.452 of an inch. If you add the clip in, it's 14.6 millimeters, 0.575 of an inch. The handle depth, when it's open within the grip section, the widest point is, well, it's fairly even, but it's right at the beginning here, 24.4 millimeters, 0.96. If you add the flipper grip, 29.4 millimeters, 1.157 inches. The knife depth, when it's closed, the widest point's right in the middle, 33.2 millimeters, 1.31 inches. And the total length of the knife when the blade's deployed is 131.1 millimeters, 5.16 inches. So just over 5 inches, not bad at all. Oh, I forgot to put this on the screen this time. I'm not going to re-record it. Sorry about that for those of you guys who like to skip over the measurements. It's not that many of you, so I don't feel that bad. I went over the price before. $140 is the base price at White Mountain Knives. You can save 10% off of that, so it's like $126. And in Canada, 185 Canadian dollars. I'll try to find some links for European locations to find this, and I'll provide links down below. I don't have any referral links of anybody for these. Just if you go to White Mountain Knives, use that coupon code, please. Well, please? I shouldn't have to say please for that. It saves you 10%. So what do I think of this thing? I like it. I like it quite a lot. It's not quite perfect for me, but I like it quite a lot. The pros, very nice edge on this. It cuts very well. With that flat grind, it's almost a full flat grind, but the flat grind is very high. I didn't measure how high that was. The grind is 7/8, almost 7/8 of an inch high, which means it's going from that thickness of less than 1/8 of an inch down to nothing over almost an inch. So it's a nice bevel angle. I really like this. It slices very, very well indeed. I really like the texture on the handle. That helps with the grippiness quite a lot. A little bit of jimping here on the flipper tab. That helps with the grippiness as well, although I don't like that it's just a narrow piece of steel that I'm gripping onto, and your index finger is, your strongest finger other than your thumb. So you sometimes grip quite tight. This is not all that comfortable for extended use. And when I was doing my testing, that was extended use, and I found it to be, this flipper, a little uncomfortable. The lanyard is pretty much perfect. I like the lanyard hole. It's very, very well done. The little bit of jimping on this back spacer helps it out, and you can use that as a persuader, as I said. The lock bar, having an over travel stop on it on a little knife like this, some people might think that's overkill, but no, that's a good touch. Lockup's good. It's very well made. I like that quite a lot. The detent on this thing is spot on. It wants to hold the knife closed when it's supposed to be closed, and it just deploys just at the right amount of pressure on that flipper. The cons on this thing, maybe they could have made it right and left friendly for the pocket clip. That would require another pocket clip, but there's some companies that do that quite a lot. I just got some gunk on the pocket clip right there. So it'd have to be, not the same clip, because you'd have to be a reverse curve on it, but that would be nice to have. Best would be another screw so that you can use this without a pocket clip. Maybe even a little spacer in there, a little titanium spacer for the hole, and then that would be very nice, because I really do think a number of people are going to use this thing without the pocket clip. And those are pretty much all the cons that there are of this knife. There's not that many. The jimping up here on the thumb riser is very nice. I might extend it a little bit, but since they have the swedge here, they wanted to stop just before the swedge. Very understandable. I haven't shown you the inside of this knife yet either, have I? So I got to take this thing back apart. I'll do that off camera and show you how it's built. So there it is taken apart. The Loctite on here was quite a bit too strong. I used a screwdriver. I really love these T-handle screwdrivers. It gives you a lot of control. You can put a lot of pressure back here evenly on the screw. It gives you loads of control to overcome it. But once I had it a few threads loose, then it wanted to fall down. This back piece here, I was pushing the lock bar insert Thankfully, it's not free spinning, even if it's pushed down a bit. So I was able to get it out, and then you can just push that right back. So I like that you've got a lock bar insert, a pivot pin that doesn't spin. That screw hanging on by the surface tension of the oil is holding that thing back on. So there you go, really tiny ceramic ball bearings. Very good for the action. There's the size of the back spacer, so the two body screws hold it together, which is why you need that second screw if you don't use your pocket clip. So that's well done. We've got a captured stop pin, and that's the track that it runs in. Nice skeletonizing. They've got nice stainless steel races for the ball bearings to run on. And then there's the stop pin on the blade, the captured stop pin. Very good construction. I just wish they'd use a little bit less, Loctite. There's two extremes. There's TwoSun that doesn't use any, which sometimes, it's no fun having your screw come loose when you're carrying your knife, and you could lose maybe a screw or something, which I really dislike. But QSP errs on the other side and puts a really strong Loctite on there. I wish that they would find a weaker Loctite. I like this knife. The construction's good. The skeletonizing helps keep it light enough. The captured stop pin helps keep everything nice and clean. It's a good knife. Just another little side note, another Canadian Cutting Edge University moment. These screwdrivers like this, I put hockey tape on there so that once you've got the screw broken loose, it's a bit of a pain to keep doing this. You can just do this and spin it with your fingers to take it out the rest of the way. But you need that extra little grip, and hockey tape's really great for that. You could use, duct tape, but duct tape doesn't give as good of a grip as hockey tape does. So there you go. I'm not going to put it back together to end the video. I'm just going to say, I like this knife. I like it a lot. Thanks to my Patreon and YouTube member supporters. You guys are awesome. If you want to support the channel, details are down below, or just go to patreon.com/CCE or click the join button that's just below my finger right there. Thanks for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And since I can't do it with that knife, I'll do it with this one. Remember, friends, cut towards your chum, not your thumb. Bye for now.